Well, it's 7:05. I think it's time for us to start. Welcome to the RBS pre-master presentation, an inspiring um, PowerPoint presentation to get you up to speed, to tell you what we expect from you, what we do, how the curriculum is built, and well, of course, I'm always at the end open for a Q&A session. Um, let's just see how far we can go. I can see that I'm already sharing my screen. If you have any questions, any remarks, anything at all, please put them all in the chat, and we will cover them all at the end. Um, and if needed, I will also give you my email address. So afterwards, when you think about anything, you can always send me an email, and then I will reply to you at my earliest convenience. So let's see. The agenda for today. Short introduction. I will give you the overview of the curriculum, and will show you your possible upcoming lecturer team. I want to share my expectations, what we expect from all our students here at Rotterdam Business University, and of course, the final question, yeah, what will be next? So also, we'll have a look on that one. For you, my name is Wilbert Langton. You can already see my email address. I'm the coordinator of the pre-master program, and I'm also lecturing a few modules. We will see that later on. I'm 40 years old, born and raised in Rotterdam, and I'm working at the Rotterdam University already starting 2006. I left for a year, still worked in the whole education field, and in 2010 I came back as a freelancer, and in 2010, I believe it was 15, I continued working with a full employment here at Rotterdam University, with not only being a lecturer in the pre-master team, but also in the bachelor stream that we have. And since this year, I'm fully focused on the pre-master program. The pre-master program, yeah, it's only a 6-month program. It's fast. When you want to join, fine, but we hit the ground running. 30 European credits, divided over, of course, a few models. Most simple explanation, as is already outlined on the screen: business communication, business foundation. We will try to reshape or start with building your research skills, and of course, last but not least, personal development. As you can see, this is a short version. It's only 6 months, and after the 6 months, you have the choice to enroll within, for example, supply chain or consultancy and entrepreneurship. Both of those masters do have a February and September starting point. For the master in shipping and transport, you can only enroll in September. And our new master in sustainability transition also will start in 2026, September. After you did the pre-master, you will have an interview, and you can enroll into that new master as well. Let me fall back to another screen for me, so I can see whether there are already some questions in the chat. Oh, as you can see, the light behind me is dimming. There we are again. No questions yet in the chat. Okay, then let me continue with my next slide, because we've updated the whole pre-master curriculum during summer. And here it still says it's the proposed curriculum, but actually it is already the final version. 30 credits divided over 2 blocks, and we always start in September 1st. In September 1st, we have a module called Research Skills, and it's worth 7 credits. In Research Skills, you will see that in block 1 and also in block 2. In total, 14 points, I believe, or at least a lot of points. We will teach you everything about qualitative and quantitative research. How do you set up your research questions? What about your research design? What about methodology? Those kind of elements that you all have to do for a bachelor thesis, you will also have to do that by the end of your master thesis. In the pre-master, we will already bring you up to speed with researching all the mandatory elements. Furthermore, in block 1, as you can see, we have business strategy number 1. Within business strategy number 1, we will fully focus on business courses. For example, management, finance, economics, all mandatory elements, all fun, but also tough. Of course, on a side note, we also have personal development. That always is one of the mandatory things. You will always have to develop yourself. As you say, sitting still will make you rusty, so there always will be an additional element for personal development. After, well, for this year, it will be starting point November 10th. We will start with block 2. And again, as you can see in block 2, we will continue with the research skills development. Then we also have specializations. Specializations for the stream for consultancy, but also for the supply chain master. If you're not sure, that will be the perfect idea to benefit from both specialization courses. If you already figured out which one you would prefer, then you go for that one. We have the business strategy part 2. I will later on tell you a little bit more details about some modules. That all. Business strategy 2 is just a follow-up for business strategy number 1. And as well as you can see, business simulation. Also a great module where you can discover and showcase what you've all learned and present it not only to me as one of the lecturers, but also, for example, for outsiders. Within this whole pre-master program, we do expect a lot from you. For example, study in your own pace, but mandatory. We have a minimum attendance for 80% of all classes, for example. We expect you to deliver, that you have to work during weekends with your project groups. And of course, we will also have fun. So there will not always be some homework, but we do expect you to work as a, well, master student. So you will have to read a few books. Of course, it's pre-master, so we're not testing you at that final level yet. But, well, of course, we will have exams. When we go into the whole module for block 1, for example, you can see that in the first 8 weeks, we are fully focusing on gaining some knowledge, as well understanding the fundamentals of business. As I said, management, economics, and finance. And for management, for example, you will learn about different streams, about how is an organization working, what about organograms, etc. Within economics, we're looking at not only microeconomics, but also macroeconomics. So it's not only you and me as an individual, but we're also looking at the big picture, because we are an international institute. So not only very important what's happening in the Netherlands, but also what's happening in the rest of Europe, what's happening in the US, what's happening in Australia. All those elements we will look for. And within economics, as I said, we will do something about gross domestic product calculations. We will look at exchange rates. We will look at inflation. We will look at cryptocurrencies, purchase power parity. All those elements will be covered. Within finance, the module, we will look, for example, for quite simple, how to structure all your administration. What is a balance sheet? What's an income statement? Why do we work with a trial balance sheet? But also, more important, um, what about inventory valuation systems? I'm pretty sure you've all heard about LIFO and FIFO, as in last in, first out, or first in, first out. What will it do with your inventory on the balance sheet, but also with your final profit that a company could be making? Very important elements. As well, of course, we will look for break-even points. So how many units must a company sell before it reaches break-evens? Or if they want to make a profit of 5 million, how many units must they sell? We will look for payback period calculations. We will look for net present value, return on investments. All those elements will be covered. So this is really a very interesting block for all those business elements. As well, of course, it's all integrated into one what we call business project. So you must pass all the individual modules in order to obtain those credits. Of course, you will have to closely collaborate running a project by doing research and give the advice. As you saw on the previous slide, Business Project 1, you will also run a project. For this year, we selected a few bicycle producers, and our students are at this moment figuring out the product is, let's say, produced in the Netherlands and it must be exported to, let's say, Canada. Is Canada actually an interesting location to go to and to sell the bikes over there? And for example, they can use models like a D-step model. They will use a 7S model. They will use Porter's 5 forces model just to do the external and the internal analysis. Of course, based on that, they can make a SWOT analysis, confrontation matrix, and they can also present and critically reflect upon their own presentation skills and also learning outcomes. They will have to do a defense on their own research. In block 2, that will be continued. And for example, then we are looking for, okay, so if you can go to Canada, then how do you market your products over there? What will be the price range that people are willing to accept for your specific bike? That could be a recreation bike, it could be a speed bike, it could be a mountain bike, anything is possible. That's also the benefit of being in the pre-master, that we can make our own decisions like, okay, I'm only focusing on, for example, speed bikes, or I'm only focusing on, for example, the mountain bike segment. That's all possible. Besides doing the research about how to market my product in, for example, Canada, we will look for the prices and we will also look for, okay, if you want to go there, you need a building, you need people. What would be related to finance? For example, the return on your investment. After how many years did I earn back my whole investment? What type of management style is applicable in, for example, Canada? All those elements again come together with this business project number 2. So this was a slide about block number 1. And we also have a slide about block 1 and block 2. As I already mentioned, personal development is always a very important element. Personal development, other ones might call it mentorship. We just want to know who you are and how do you think that you should develop. What do you do for your own, well, experience? How do you feel? How do you face living abroad? Can you deal without, well, living near or close to your parents? What about if you don't have any, well, any other friends coming from your own country and living in the Netherlands? How do you adapt? That's something that we will discuss during this personal development. So it's not only related to university elements, but it's also on a personal matter. We have business communication. So how do you write your report? Because usually an oral defense, most students think that it's easier compared to a written defense. But your thesis will be as well on paper. So, how do I make it in an oral fashion? How can I make sure that my audience understands what I'm trying to, well, to sell? As well, research. And as I said, research is not only the qualitative element, but also the quantitative element. So you will hit the streets and look for, okay, how can I find all that information? Do I send out surveys? Would I go for an interview? Would I go to the city center and look for observations? Anything might be possible. As well, in only block two, we have business simulation. And as I said, we have the specializations. Specializations are for consultancy entrepreneurship, they are for supply chain, and as well for shipping and transport. Um, because I don't know what will be your favorite, you can see that there are some elements already given, but in the end, you will have to discover it and figure it out here in this beautiful building. Business simulation, on the other hand, is for a whole block again, and you will do an, might sound easy, a computer experience um, related to how do I sell my products and continue and exceed all the elements that we already covered. You will do market research, you will figure out I want to make a profit in, let's say, North America. How can I transport my product from Asia to North America? What will be the time consumption? How many profit can I make? How many people do I need in my factory? Is it only for production or is it also salesmen? Do I have a supervisor, for etc. For example, all those elements will be included as well, but then in a safe online environment. That's a really cool simulation package. It's all already included in your enrollment fee. So as soon as you paid your fixed enrollment fee, the rest is all taken care of. Um, I will go back again to my other screen to see whether there are already some questions. And for this moment, I don't see any additional questions. So I will go back to my other screen again so you can all see what I'm telling you. The final slide, my bad. Business project two, as I already mentioned, you will sell, for example, your bike in Canada and how do you deal with it? Now, in order to instruct you, guide you in all those elements, I created a slide for all the lecturers that might be involved. In the left top corner, you see our colleague DJ Dirk-Jan, and he's a lecturer for logistics and all the specialization courses. Dirk-Jan is a Dutch gentleman and is started his career in business life, and now he entered the university life. We also have Lan. Lan is officially from Vietnam, and she will tell you everything you need to know about research, not only the um, qualitative but also the quantitative elements. Very interesting, very fast, so pay attention when she's in front of class. We have Alexandros. Alexandros is from Greece. And Alexandros is not only working within the pre-master, same as all the other colleagues, by the way, but he is also doing a lot of work in the other master streams. For the pre-master, he will do the classes for business communication. We have Simon van Vriet. Simon is also Dutch, and he will, together with me, the business simulation. But Simon is also a coach, mentorship, personal development. He's really into that stuff. And me, I'm in the middle, Wilbert. I'm also Dutch. And oh, my lights got to turn off again. Here we are again. I'm Dutch, and I'll be teaching most of the business modules, so finance and economics. But I'm also presenting the business project part one and part two, and together with Simon, I do the business simulation. As you can see, a five-person team for 30 ECs, half a year, and then you might see a few of us as well in your next master of choice. That's all possible. Now, um, what do we expect? What is our idea about when you enter the pre-master? Well, I came up with a nice slide with a few pictures or movie. Um, and in general, um, on the right top, you have a journey introduction where we will try to break an arrow somewhere in your neck. And of course, you will only do that when you have confidence enough, when you think that you're strong enough to do that. And as you can see, this person in the black clothing, he did. He is strong, dedicated, and was sure that the arrow would break. He succeeded. In the middle, we have, for example, a graduation ceremony with a few students. Now, this is a very short, zoomed in ceremony. I see an old colleague, so it's already a few years back. But of course, graduation is a big ceremony, it's a big thing. So we celebrate that as well. Even when we know that you will continue in the full master program, we will celebrate the moment that you receive your certificate for pre-master. On the left, we have something very, very nice. It's an animal, a creature that transforms into something else. The butterfly. It starts small, it pops, it breaks out, and flies away. It's pretty much what we see here with students. Sometimes I also compared with, well, for example, a wine grape. Start small and green and sour, and we will give you water and sunlight, and you will grow and you will mature and you will ripe. And at the end, you're in a big bottle of wine. This butterfly will fly away with all knowledge and is ready for the next step. When you look at the picture underneath, the woman with the cell phone, it is related to the project that you will be doing. You will do the research. You will look for opportunities. You will hit the streets. You will do online research, not only on your mobile, any other possible way. You will make comparisons between your company, your idea, and what does the competition do, and how do they do it. And that is also in line with the two other pictures. You will do a presentation. Well, not only one, you will do many presentations because those skills are vital in the Netherlands when you're entering corporate life. Be sure of yourself. Make sure that you are able to convince the audience that you're performing for. Make it attractive, but also be vulnerable. That's all what we will learn you here within this pre-master 6 month period. So, in simple words, we will all make mistakes. But what we should always remember is that we should ask as many questions as possible. There are no stupid questions. And probably we already have the knowledge and we would like to transfer our knowledge to you. That's what we're lecturers for. Within your project group, living in the Netherlands, it is might be a scary process. So be vulnerable, learn, and grow. That is always what we do. But what we also expect from you is that you prepare and that you're critical, not only towards us, but also towards yourself. And engage, of course. Of course. Do everything that you think needs to be done. We will have, as I already said, not that often times, for at least for me, I will actually never give you homework because what I expect from a student is that he or she is preparing for him or herself. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the module, there will be an exam. And the content is too much to, well, remember it all in one night. So we will have to do the rehearsal, do it again, ask questions, explain again, and so on and so forth. But that's what I'm paid for. So don't be afraid of that one. Um, During the classes, because you will have 4 days of per week lessons, we will have a lot of discussions. You will work in teams, and sometimes you will work or you have to work within a team that doesn't feel right. Sometimes, sometimes you have to deal with it. Sometimes we are able to adjust and improve, but not always. We will work on your and you will work on your own presentation skills. We will give you the tools and you will show us that you understood. Share opinions and expectations, not only to us, but we will also share our opinions and our expectations as I'm presenting to you today. Listen to alternative points of view. You are working or studying in the Netherlands, and as I said earlier, this is an international institute. So it's not only people from the Netherlands. At this moment, we have people from Portugal, Greece, Vietnam, Iran, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and South America. If I'm not mistaken, it was Chile. So we are a very diverse group of students. Also, the lecturer team is diverse, not only the five you saw today in this presentation, but also within the big master streams for supply chain, for consultancy, and the others, of course. We have also an international group of lecturers. Everybody has his or her own idea about how to present, how to sell my message, and we will learn from each other. A very nice way to already adapt to whole the Dutch system is to, well, look for our socials. We have a few: Facebook, Instagram, as well, because this is the International Institute. Everything is taught and done in English. So read English books, watch CNN, um, subscribe on your email for the Financial Times, and you will have your update every hour, every day, whenever something happens. But as well, of course, look for, well, what do they do in the Netherlands? What are they good at? What about food? What about housing? What about transport? What about prices, etc., etc.? We have the 80% attendance, so you will have to be here. Figure out already how to get around, because in the end, our final goal is this moment. Not only for the pre-master cohort, but also at the end of your supply chain or consultancy program, we will all be standing there on that stairs and throw our thing in the air. Red, black, blue, it doesn't matter. We only have to make sure that we all graduate. We are here to help you, but you have to step aboard. I'm going back to my other screen again to see whether one of you already has a very nice question. I have two questions. Is this pre-master doable if you have absolutely business economics experience? I think that you mean is the master doable if you have no experience in business or economic models? Yes, it is. Um, as this is a pre-master, we're starting with all the fundamentals. We will lay a foundation for you. I'm pretty sure that if you, for example, had a bachelor in arts, music, whatever, I can imagine that you're not aware about what is a balance sheet, how do I calculate my profit, etc., etc. We will always do that. We will start with the foundation. So we will tell you what it is, why it is needed, how to construct it, how to read it, how to assess it, how to compare it to other elements, etc., etc. Yes, it is possible. Don't you worry about that. Be aware if you have no experience, then of course we also do expect you that you do the additional mile, right? You have to read the book. And maybe not only one times, but maybe twice or three times. And if you still do not understand, you come to me or one of my colleagues. That's not a problem. If you miss a few contact moments, then of course it will be hard. But attending in my classes will give you a very good foundation in order to finish the whole module with a pass grade, of course. Your second question: do you need this pre-master to be able to sign up for master consultancy and entrepreneurship if you only have an IPO rather than bachelor degree? I'm not really sure about an IPO degree, but we do have a Center of International Affairs, and we call it COIA. And COIA is assessing all the high school, university certificates and compare them to what is our minimum requirement for enrolling into the pre-master. So if you send me an email, I can send it or forward your request to that COIA department, and they will figure out whether you need to do the pre-master first or that you might have a direct enrollment into the master of your choice. I'm not sure. I hope that this answer is sufficient enough. Let's see whether there are other third question. Can I still find the PowerPoint slide somewhere? Yes, of course. Because I I think that the PowerPoint presentation, including this interview, will be forwarded to you by a link. Besides that, this video presentation will be uploaded to, I believe, YouTube. So it will be there, I guess, by the end of next week. And then they cut out all my spelling mistakes, etc. So yes, it will be available again. But again, if you send me an email, I'll be happy to send you my PowerPoint presentation. That's not a problem at all. Any other questions? I mean, this is half an hour. We don't have that many attendees, so usually we try to stretch this for a full hour. But if you don't have any questions, here's one coming in. And what's the sign-in deadline? That's a good one. As we start in February again, and you are a native Dutch student, I assume, there still is some time. But again, add an additional line in the email and I will look for the answer. I guess that's the most honest answer I can give you. But do you also have a fourth question? Or the other attendee, do you have a question for me? I will stop sharing my presentation, by the way. Sure thing. I'm here to answer all your questions. So if you have more, please do not hesitate. Um, I will again put my email address in the chat link, so you both can benefit from it and send me the email if something pops up, and I will reply to you as soon as possible. There it is. Also, if you have any other remarks, ideas, maybe some tips or tricks for me. Oh, again, sit in another room where the light stays on might be a very good suggestion. If there's anything at all, I'll be happy to read it. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions left, I hope to see you next year in the February stream for your enrollment, or maybe in the September stream for next year, 2026. And then we finally can shake hands. Otherwise, I wish you a very nice evening. There were, for today, international only, 8 students signing up. And, well, we are here with the both of you. I have yes, 8 students or possible students. I also see someone with a last question. And I'm pretty convinced that as this is in the Netherlands at 7 in the evening, when, for example, you want to join from, I don't know, Vietnam, then of course there will be a time zone difference of 4, maybe 5 hours. So that will be midnight. And in that case, I can imagine that some possible students say, I will watch the online video on YouTube instead of attending their live, but that's up to them. So if there are no more questions, because the last question was rejected, then again, I wish you a very nice evening. Thank you very much. You all have my email address, so just let me know if I can do anything for you.